Hey there guys, John here. Thanks for joining me for this installment of my video blog. The last 24 hours has seen a lot of rapid news firing all over the place in the movie blog sphere that it's been confirmed that there's going to be an Arrested Development movie. Now listen, before I talk about anything else, let me get this out of the way. I love Arrested Development. I think it's a great show. I think it's a really smart sitcom, and those things are in rare supply, and I was really heartbroken when the film was canceled like 5 years ago. But even though I really love the show, you have to keep your wits about you. Look, here's where all this is coming from. A few comments have been made on a panel and by producer Ron Howard that, yes, we're working on a script. Yes, the cast is all behind it. Yes, we're aiming to shoot like 10 episodes of the TV show and shoot the movie in like 2012 for a 2013 release. But here's the thing. None of those are definitive. And in typical movie blog fashion, and trust me, I've been guilty of this in the past myself inadvertently, we take those little things and news sites are running with it and running titles like, confirmed, there's an Arrested Development movie. Let's get this out of the way first. It is not confirmed. There is no Arrested Development movie definitely happening. It's not. Nobody has says that it is. They've said they're working on a script, the cast is behind it, this is what they're aiming to do, but there's a few major problems that have to be overcome before anything like that's ever going to happen. And let's face it, it probably never will happen. Yes, Arrested Development was a very popular show for people who watched it, but overall, not a lot of people watched it. The reason Arrested Development got canceled in the first place is because nobody watched it. It's a show with really low ratings. Now granted, those who did watch the show were really passionate about it and very loyal. But guess what? There was another show called Firefly that was the same way. An excellent show with excellent writing, great characters, and had a very loyal and devout following. But guess what? When they tried to turn that into a feature film, Serenity, a movie that was awesome by the way, the movie made like 25 million bucks. Nobody went to go see it because nobody cared about Firefly. It pains me to say that because I really love Firefly and Serenity. Now, some people might want to point out too the X-Files. Well, John, the X-Files was a TV show and it made like $85 million or $80 million when it came out as a movie in 1998. Well, maybe, but there's a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, X-Files was an infinitely more popular show than Arrested Development ever was, had a much larger audience. Also, the movie in 1998 came out when the show was still on the air. The show was still relevant. It was still there in the public and, consciousness. Now, fast forward a whole bunch of years when they try to come out with another X-Files movie, long after the show had been canceled, X-Files I Want to Believe, the movie made like 20 million bucks or less. So now you take a show like Arrested Development, a show that had a much smaller audience, not many people watched it, got canceled because nobody was watching it, and it's been over 5 years since it got taken off the air. Do you really think somebody's going to step up and pay the money to produce a film like that? Because let's face it, nobody's going to go watch it. One of the complaints that some people had about the show that didn't follow it from the beginning was that it's a difficult show to follow. You don't really know why the characters are doing what they're doing or who they are or how they interact with each other or what their relationship to each other is. Now, when you're somebody like probably you and I who did watch the show from the beginning, that all made sense. But it's a difficult show to just kind of jump in on. Now, if you're going to make an Arrested Development movie, obviously because of its low ratings, you're going to have to appeal to a whole big, wider audience. That's next to impossible to do. And how are you going to do that with a show that had that types of complaints that you don't really know what's going on for people who've never watched the show? Now, they did say that they're going to aim to have like 10 episodes of a TV series to introduce everybody to the cast and what's going on and what the story is. And I get that, but it seems pretty ambitious. And I don't think it's something that people are going to tune into in the first place to watch. It just makes no sense. So to wrap it up, Arrested Development, the movie, is not confirmed and will probably never be confirmed. Nobody said it's actually happening. You just have cast members and producers saying they want to do it, they're behind it, and they're aiming for it, but nothing's been done. And the reality is, you think Universal is going to finance this thing? No. You think Fox is going to finance this thing? No, because it doesn't have an audience that's big enough to justify it. It pains me to say that as a fan, but we've got to be realistic. Anyway, that's my take on this. Thanks for joining me on my video blog. My name is John Campea.